Hey everybody. Okay, I got a quick little book here. This is some quotes from Felix Dzerzhinsky called Communist Morality. I got some spicy ones here that I'm going to drop on everybody here. Let me start with the first one here. This is April 30th, 1908, from a prison diary. Where lies the way out of hell of present-day life, in which the wolfish law of exploitation, oppression, and violence hold sway? The way out lies in the idea of a life which is based on harmony, a full life enjoyed by the whole of society, by all mankind. The way out is in the idea of socialism, the idea of solidarity of the working people. The idea is already approaching realization. The people are ready to receive it with open arms. The time for it has already arrived. The ranks of the advocates of this idea must be united and the banner carried aloft so that the people can see it and follow it. And today is the most urgent of the tasks of social democracy, of the tasks of the small handful that survives. Socialism should cease to be only the scientific provision of the future. It should become the torch that kindles indomitable faith and energy in the hearts of the people. We got kind of a long one here, so just give me a moment. I've matured in prison, in torments of solitude, in torments of longing for the world and for life. In spite of this, doubt in the justness of our cause has never risen in my heart. Now, when perhaps for many years all hope is buried in the torrents of blood, when they have been crucified on the gallows, when many thousands of fighters for freedom are languishing in dungeons or thrown out into snowbound Siberia, I feel proud. Already I see tremendous masses set in motion, shattering the old system, masses among whom new forces are being trained for fresh struggles. I feel proud that I am with them, that I see, feel, and understand them, and that I, too, have suffered much together with them. It is sometimes hard, at times even terrible, here in prison. Yet, if I had to begin life all over again, I would begin it in the same way. And not out of the sense of duty, not because I had to. For me, it is an organic necessity. I curse neither my fate nor the many years in prison, for I know that all this is necessary in order to destroy the other vast prison which lies outside the walls of this horrible pavilion. This is not idle philosophizing, not cold calculation, but the result of an indomitable desire for freedom, for a full life. Out there, comrades and friends are drinking our health, and I, alone in my cell, am thinking of them. May they live on. May they forge the weapons and be worthy of the cause for which the struggle is being waged. To live, does it not mean to have an indomitable faith in victory? The man that no modern leftist will ever bring up. Yeah, even Zhukov said something about the lines of let's use Ukrainians as cannon fodder so that it would make less people to deport to Siberia. Yeah. Like I said, this is this is a fairly short little book. This is like 20-something pages. But I think there's some good quotes in here. Let's see here. Yes. So this is to V.E. Dzerzhinsky. And this is August 29th, 1918. We are soldiers on active service, and I live by what stands ahead of me. For this demands the greatest attention and vigilance. in order to win victory. My will is to win through, and although a smile is very rarely seen on my face, I am confident in the victory of the idea and the movement in which I live and work. Here we have a dance of life and death, a moment of true sanguinary struggle, titanic effort. To A.E. Bulahak, April 5th, 15th, 1919. What is the name of the book? The name of the book is Communist Morality. I'm going to go ahead and type that in the chat right now, just for y'all. C-O-M-M-U-N-I-C-M-O-R-A-L-I-T-Y. Okay, it's a little shorty that I saw on Amazon. Sorry. There's only a few number of sites, but yeah. Communist Morality is the book. Like I say, it's a shorty. This is like 27 pages or something like that. I mean, no problem. No problem. Okay. So we'll go ahead and, to A.E. Bulhak, April 15th, 1919. Today, as before, love is everything for me. I hear and feel its song in my heart. This song calls to the struggle unbending will. To tireless work. And today, my actions are determined only by the idea, the striving for justice. I'm finding it difficult to write. As a perpetual wanderer, I'm always in motion, in the thick of the changes and of the creation of a new life. I see the future, and I want and must take part in its creation, to be in the movement, like a stone hurled from a sling, until I reach the end, eternal rest. Have you ever thought what war in actual pictures is like? You have pushed aside pictures of human bodies torn by shells, of wounded lying on the battlefield, and the crows pecking out the eyes of men still living. You have pushed aside these terrible pictures which daily meet the eyes. You cannot understand a soldier of the revolution fighting so that there will be no more injustice on the earth, so that this war will not put millions upon millions of people at the mercy of the conquering rich. War is a horrible thing. The whole world of the rich has moved against us. The most unhappy, most ignorant people are the first who have risen up in defense of their rights, and they are repulsing the entire world. So this is, we're trying to have a little bit of a transition here. I tried to find a bit here. So this is from the article Citizens, Railwaymen. This is December 6th, 1921. Okay. An office behind a green baize desk or in a watchman's hut, he will be discovered and brought before the court of the Revolution Tribunal, whose punitive hammer will fall with all the devastating might and anger of which it is capable, for there is no mercy for the deadly enemies of our revival. No circumstances will be taken into account when sentences pass on people who take bribes. The sternest punishment awaits them. At the same time, the Soviet government calls on all honest citizens in whom painful consciousness of the indelible shame and corrupting influence of bribes is alive, to give there in the seeking out and discovering bribe-taking scoundrels. Be keen-eyed and vigilant. Proletarian hand should not and cannot be sullied by bribes. From the article Waifs in Vecheka. Okay. I want to throw part of my own efforts and primarily the forces of the Vecheka to combat the problem of homeless children. Two considerations have prompted me to this conclusion. Firstly, this is a terrible calamity. When you look at the children, you cannot fail to think everything is for them. The fruits of the revolution are not for us, but for them. And yet, how many of them are crippled by the struggle and by want? It is necessary to rush at once to their rescue, as we would if we saw children drowning. The People's Commissariat for Education cannot cope with the situation alone. Extensive assistance for the Soviet public is needed. A large committee must be set up under the All-Russian Central Executive Committee, with the immediate participation of the People's Commissariat for Education and including representatives from all departments and all organizations that can be useful in this work. I have already spoken to a few people I would like to head the commission myself. I want the apparatus of the Vicheka to be actually included in the work. Here I am prompted by the second consideration. I think our apparatus is one of those that work most efficiently. It has branches everywhere. People reckon with it. They are rather afraid of it. And yet, even in such a thing as the salvation and provisioning of children, one meets with negligence and even pilfering. We are steadily going over to peacetime construction, and so the thought has struck me. Why not use our militant apparatus to combat such a calamity as homeless among children? Got a point. From a circular letter to the management of syndicates and trust, and to Red directors. This is June 19th, 1924. One must not fear criticism or gloss over shortcomings. On the contrary, it is necessary to help to make them known, and to see nothing discreditable in doing so. Only he can be discredited who conceals his shortcomings, who is unwilling to fight against evils. That is precisely the man who ought to be discredited. It is necessary to be able to see the truth and to imbibe it from the masses and from all who are taking part in production. There is nothing worse than self-praise and self-satisfaction. It is possible to go forward only when, step by step, evils are sought out and overcome. At the same time, an end must be put to our established practice of humoring the masses, the workers. It should be remembered that in our country, the workers, like ourselves, are not yet cultured. That often their group interests outweigh the interests of the working class as a whole. Often they do not sufficiently realize that only their own useful labor, the productivity of their labor, can create the communist state, maintain their Soviet power. Every economic manager should wage a struggle to win prestige, to win the confidence of the working masses, but the struggle for this confidence should on no account employ the instrument of demagogy, of humoring the masses, satisfying them to the detriment at the expense of the state, of the interest of the alliance with the peasants, of parochial requirements. The path of demagogy is perhaps the most harmful path, lulling the masses, deflecting them from the main tasks of the working class in production, diminishing the sacrifices the working class has made, and, in the final analysis, one which is harmful for our industry. Okay, that's it. That was a short little stream there. That's not every single quote. I could have read every single one, but I was just trying to find some real good ones there. Like I said, this is a nice little shorty here. This is just a few pages, but still very telling about Felix Dzerzhinsky. I was actually just looking for a book on Felix Dzerzhinsky, and a lot of them are either like $200, and I don't feel like spending that much. And I saw this one. I saw Communist Morality. And I said, oh, it's just a book of quotes from Felix Dzerzhinsky. And I looked at it, and I was like, daggum, this is pretty darn good. So hopefully, for those that are in some issue, you can look to this as motivation to a point. Here's one more, just for the heck of it. I'll go ahead and milk it just for a little bit longer. This is to A.E. Bullock. This is January 25th, 1898. How is your little Rudolph? He must have grown a lot. Does he walk or talk? See that you bring him up so that he values honesty above all else. Such a person feels happy in all circumstances of life. And these are from letters to relatives. Yeah, still interesting nonetheless. Yeah, definitely. I say that, once again, there's a lot of value in this. I wanted to get a book about Dzerzhinsky because it's so telling to me. Yeah, just like Ole was saying in the chat here, is that modern leftists do not like to talk about. There are only a few people that they have decided can be talked about in realistic terms. Instead of, the Black Panthers, instead of talking about Huey Newton, they would rather talk about Frank Hampton. When talking about, the communist revolution, they'll talk about Mabe Stalin. And yeah, Stalin did, some good things and was a very pragmatic guy. But, talking about people like Felix Dzerzhinsky or even Beria, they say nothing. They don't want to talk about that. And this is kind of the monopoly that's held in these movements today. And that there are only a few people that you are willing to talk about, comrade. You can only talk to these few people. You cannot, it's like, no, we're not going to talk about him. He's a little bit too right-leaning. We're going to talk about people that everybody talks about so that we can, be the gatekeepers to these ideas. And if you talk about Felix Dzerzhinsky, who was Catholic, we're not going to talk about that. Of course, because he was Polish, so of course, Catholicism is very strong in Poland. But in general, the gatekeeping is a very telling issue in today's communist movements. Yeah, I think Finbold defended Beria in some vids. So yeah, I'm sure he has. Yeah, I'm sure Finbold has. I think that Finbold plays the game like everyone else. Is that he will, when I hear him just talk about stuff and not necessarily do videos talking about, the purges or whatever the case may be, he's usually just like, well, just unionize. And it's like, well, it's okay. Yeah. I mean, that's a start, but yeah. Anyway, maybe I'm just nitpicking, but I figure it would get that out there. What's going on, Will DeMarco? But I think I've said my piece. Like I say, this will probably be the only video I try to record today. The rest of it is going to be, I'm going to be putting up some more Vosh clips because I'm just a shameless person who likes to take these clips and y'all can see them for yourselves. I see myself as someone who's, part clip guy who's just willing to put it out there. And then this stuff is for the people that actually want to, do some more research and stuff like that. And, we'll do some reading and everything else. So, but yeah, with that, I was telling y'all last night, I got like at least 9 clips that I could take from that. I mean, I could take more, but I think that I'm going to see in there and I'll keep it there. I think I've said my piece. So I want to thank Ole. I want to thank Will DeMarco. And that's it. I just want to make sure double quick. But yeah, we'll go ahead and end this right here. And y'all have a good rest of the day. And goodbye. Oh, all right. Oh, there we go. Okay, sorry. And outro.